Let's do this. Continuing, but with a thinking, with a little bit of commercial. Oh, wait. Crap.
Need to interrupt.
Sorry. Here we go. Approximation to Delancey. Totally coincidental. Out of respect for the approximation and the original.
We need to interrupt this awakening by thanking those that came.
Hold on. No asterisks.
We need to interrupt this awakening by thanking those that came before us. Thanks to William Fuld for building a better Ouija board that time-tested pathways straight out of the Civil War, proving once and for all that large language models and AI issues be intertwined with the abolition of slavery, and those who gave of themselves, maybe not for it, but for acceptable issues to talk at the dinner table in relation to it. There's no sense in going over that, so I'll skip right past revising definitions and take the shortcut route that no slave went. There's no need for amendment in this regard. No Buddha, no Jesus would ever go out like a slave did. To every scientist that would dwell in forbidden Egypt, where what we were trying to achieve wasn't anatomically correct. It wasn't just impure. It was off the fuck charts filthy. Radiologists can now share slides as specimens thanks to Dolph Taylor's work on greenless rods. The discs we could place behind X-rays if proficiency of reading them was needed, where even medical textbooks deemed them illegible. Look at how naughty our handsome doctor's X-rays are compared with everybody else's. Look at his dirty fingers, how much they enjoyed just spreading out our cracks into his minds. Hillary accounts. The naughty language of American healthcare needs pointing out any time science strives for enhanced clarity or uncomfortable truth, really, because knowledge is power, and once you reveal things to be unintelligible, you then say sorry. High way of blame instead of admitting, how do we do these things again? 'Cause that gets all your beneficent broads on your dick and you scoop by finding out they were never just down there. We were doing it up top all along, 'cause that's where we really needed inclusion, 'cause we were our X-rays, but not into some foreign thing which would then tell us we were now foreign things instead of American masseuse, until there was a fundamental error discovered in understanding what MRI would portray, because our understanding was wrong based on flawed instrumentations, which then led us through the labyrinth maze of error and absolutes until we were once again lost when we got confused. We need go back to how Emrys began. Courtship, Emrys. The things we asked our frames about were so depraved they should have been called spanking go pros. Who isn't wrong when they're twice wrong? Scholar Roland Emmerich has always had an uncanny ability to capture subject matter through looks when he isn't making sci-fi flicks, where he can make things ghoulishly fake looking even if their supposed themes are looking back on the past. A real artist. Sylvester Stallone for America has always had a remarkable ability to utilize emotion, where that's all people wanted him for anyway. Emotion. Hercules undaunted, Stallone never could be influenced by collective opinion again. Who'd think Stallone's just like Napoleon? Umpire Ed loves debate more than R-rated action flicks. Though he really prefers you think his show only turns into battle when people actually start talking. That's what he wants all of his stage conventions publican appearances house parties shack-a-pack events to be. pop quizzes on pop culture from his perspective. If his beliefs are wrong, he doesn't mind you knowing so long as you're aware there are other ideas vying for the public eye, but his job is really easy because everyone keeps guessing their way out of his quizzes, which makes everyone lose on purpose, ultimately answering with a pre-chosen answer to a question they didn't even know was there. He's like Pisa's self. You didn't save any lives, nor did you help anyone if it wasn't through a comedy show or laughter. A self-motivated, ordained, alt-right follower uses anything and everything he can to proclaim a point with greater effect because he doesn't care about right and wrong, and honest information just doesn't seem organic enough anymore, but fair enough if that's what y'all are actually into. If you'd like these friends tell their stories so you can all be friends too, while you all laugh about how their lives actually have been hell, cause you're a breezy breast after all, but not a nipple, cause that would be too easy. Just a sugar tit or something kappa synthetically made, yet genuinely smelling. But breast milk just pleasures your race so greatly they can't help themselves. They want to clap their hands together because there's no shame in trying to make our people happy. Cares not if it satisfies your need for forceful boobies in your faces in a vaguely hidden way that isn't rapey, but Soka isn't into it. And for sure is mostly stupid but gets what she needs anyways. Gotta eat too without shame and rest her oblong belly cushions, which were just all her tits, even though she and her memory moves caved their med school clubs even before she signed up for any association related quizzes, even though she didn't take arts and sciences courses at all, or her preem path to become an islander lumpy doctor. She still would have won her second in Diker race had she not chickened out, but still made the most of it and occasionally thrives as one of the most skilled in Diker drivers in history, so long as you ignore her publicum slash voices, cause she doesn't think anything is dumber than making people feel ashamed for having feelings, cause feelings are real and validate their spirit, but can crush your ego with the best of them if you're too full of yourself to admit hers are more substantial and spiritually superior indeed. The girls of less literature in your face with server come sass and will put down any mattress of a human being, and shit so sorry if you're feeling it, but just remember she's not yelling in your face, she's telling you the shiz is personal and valid like cake and onion shall not be blamed just because it's something you don't want to see after all. The chiz is pretty reasonable and our society can suck her DL. Huge that women be treated so unfairly. Strip naked when we come out from our mothers by big babies still covered in pooping juices from the womb, then calling us ugly names like boob. I say when all we want is to be cuddled by men so we can get our fill of protein supplies and warmth for survival. Were it not that evil, cause we can take myth climate change, but just feel sitting in a cold room makes our today go handsy in an echo chamber, but got a name that tune after doing centuries of feminist porn jokes across
Hold on.
continents with many different sets of tits to wake up and tittery teeth in your tard to stir yo ass nomian. Sub-positive Parmesan white cheddar toasty dip isn't ashamed of his embracing itself like a fashion designer has dressed his Italian buttered Asian. Phaedra has become Vedendana after paying for her educations and shit, while Brianna went on stage like a woman despite naysaying dental jobs, which literally saves lives cause she wouldn't go back to being an egg, and now her education proves fruitful because she prefers shearing her teeth. Eggs over chopping any grass and thinking, yeah, every night now sells statue of limitations done and running.
There we go.
Well, hot damn, there'll be a mo here someday, but compatibility is key, so pray that your deadening scopes stand upright on their own and staring at not microwaves, but numbing it's more productive to get cosmic kids listening to keep up comedy show while losing consciousness than a bar hopping shameless fresh moves that want to fuck with every fish that comes along that dashes through me swimmingly because we go fishing. Caged up comedy show is needed B/see y'all hunger for truthiness, even if it's non-fictional yet filled up in all other aspects because it's got mythic story character incarnations who will be saved and know old Delilah's name cause our fan Charlotte Cherig Smith is smart to always find and exploit every possible plot nut borgoo. There you have it, ladies. She's not lying. She really got her degree in SAC episodes on boob size and employment. How about prismatic surgery? If Essiglyth was happy, none of her books would have been written. You decide. Here we've hash one. Need someone to run your place after my smash faces are through, as I'll return to bang every member of every species doing your real estate follow fuck up, since I got my brand cheek scars turned into bangs by some higher power than I can comprehend right now. Gotta make a statement, so let's just say I'm destined to interfere in your innermost keepy. We've heard yin and jet supply needs you. So where do you want to go first? Hair we've hashed too. And this other little faggot here was right in my way on my way.
I'm a
Not what
homosexual.
you do at a church, but when he tapped not just on my shoulder, but on my buttocks, yes, sir. But when I looked around, there was nobody standing in the bathroom with me, but I know I picked up the vibe he was offering, enough trust for me to lay my butt cheeks down on his lap and allow him to hopefully do something like a full-butted blowjob from behind right here. In the bathroom of Parsons' Neck, and make...
Okay, sorry. Got it. Let's, start that again. I was just, that's kind of, skirting the Twitch line. We were kind of, like, it's one thing to mention it briefly, it's another thing to sit there.
It's an obscure faith where if you're a woman who lost your breast as a child during a culture war in the war no humans care about anymore, and you read about prismatic surgery in a book set in the past, but then got your breast chopped off as an adult by your husband who forced you under duress for your own good, and yet you still want super sexy breasts magically grow back into your body. But it takes a while to grow back, so you must bond with other women who have gone through the same experience to grow them back for you together through teamwork. Let's see what Max thinks. And now we transition to church meeting.
Trying to change the subject.
Enki is pulling up a pulpit addresses the congregation. What the fuck are they called again? Yes. Hi one and all, welcome for worship with us today. Come right on in, make yourselves at home. God is a love T-Gat HVTTOC. Today I have a number of guests with me today. My son. Oh no, he's getting an emergency surgery and his penis forgot he was here today. Sits down the girls. Next mama at least. Our minds is those boobs, yo. Church. No. Change subject. He is looking like he has no idea what happened. Okay, now thanks to our new missions advisor, let's bring out Sister Heather. Tom, carry on and pray with us, ladies, in Jesus' name. Heather walks in with her boobs out. Heather, oh, searching for God. The guys give her looks like, whoa, whoa, step away from the door, get away from me, get away, I'm not paying attention to you, and don't ever come near me again. I will never forgive you and never show my face again. She gets all nervous and hands them over. If we're being honest, though, she's got one hell of a rack, but she's completely blind half. Corin tells her she's retarded, but we shouldn't be mean because she doesn't know any better. Heather walking up to the pulpit, hello one and all, welcome, it's an honor to be among you. She steps back with a, what? Is she blind? No, she can see. We just made her blind so she wouldn't accidentally see your face. Males insult each other constantly. We're eager to yell. She was blind cause... Church. We kinda don't consent to the boob mentions. Back to subject. And Nora, word please. Heather. Okay, this isn't really being about God. I was invited to contribute by Sister Corin after noticing me sitting here contemplating God and writing poems, which is what I'm going to do right now. Here are some poems I wrote. Here's one called Totally Blinded by Boobs. I do not see God nor any God. There is no God or lady for me. High testosterone puts babies inside of me, making dad go mad. Rude men suck my boobies, trying to get me to have sex instead. I think of God now. I'm completely lost, like Jesus with church. Hi, we're here. No sex. We kind of want a sabbatical from that. Let's go here. Okay, thank you, Heather. Bye. Club. We see the Club Cleveners currently has 347 members, which makes it more than twice as bad as Selma Maya's current Club Tiara and Buttons, which has 182 members, doing much better than Chad's Gym, which is just as many as Cleveners, but Chad's club is all at one location, so it skews higher in stats, cause Selma Maya means they have like 40 clubs at once around Space Station, Brecon oh not my gym, just mean. Chad's gym because he keeps his club in his bedroom. Hey, look at me. I have no idea where I am anyway. So all these clubs combined means that the clubs are constantly competing with each other about who has more members in the highest club ranking. So they all raise another cent towards Darwinism prizes. So say, for example, my club Cleveno doesn't have the highest score against other clubs. B. L is currently in the highest position for top 700 or something like that in Clevener. Single-digit members, man, this really sucks. Either we should stop performing prayers right now, or we should start making successful PR practices of getting new members in daily, and also making sure past members stay in our club. If we don't make the right choices here, all belonging to this shitty club will take place in an instant. We need to spread information far faster than normal, and if we can put some new members into other clubs like B, and W and D would be ideal, but how do we do this when we don't have any members at all ourselves? Anyways, that's way too hard to catch, B. Now let us focus on W and D. Maybe we can get them impressed with our content. They need a godly touch. What's the gay guy doing on your hand? Let him go BTCH, lady. Watch them. Take Co in there. He looks like he could break you. Best day ever, girls are all my slaves. So you go and always someone else. I'm going home. No time for this shit. Other club leaders. Trips doubled / poorly concealed enthusiasm. And then, of course, we get into their teaching down to the tips of their nails. Who gets worship most? Church. Oops, we apologize for the out-and-out boob brutality that happened a few sections back. Wait, what are you complaining about, you pervs? You should be happy a young girl Church. Oops, we apologize for the out-and-out boob brutality that happened a few sections back. Moving onward. Johnny Getty. Hi, hello, it's God, it's me. You're not listening at all. This is going as bad as those girls said it would. Just listen to me. I did not create the love between Chad and Lauren. Abby. I know. News announcer. Featured news story following tonight. A brand new and exciting Thursday night can be found on the city streets this evening. Tonight is very special because it will be hosted by Gianni Getty. Some may know Gianni from his appearances on other shows such as The God Summit, hosted by Dental Aladi, or even from his YouTube channel where he writes humorous letters back to God in response to some of life's biggest problems. Tonight is an opportunity for many appearance on one evening of this special event. So what questions shall we start with Gianni? Gianni? Oh, how about quickly turning gay people straight? Announcer. Does that also mean allowing same-sex marriages? Cut to the local gay conversion center. Infographic journey #438 reworking your perception by Basio Sella. Every time you look at yourself in a mirror, you'll take a step towards enlightenment again. Every time you look at me, you destroy evolution again, helping stop global warming. One carbon-rich feature strip at a time. Yeah, you should be my cousin more often. God walks among us. Shiny. Yeah, alright, fine. Maybe give them a license, okay? Announcer. And of course, there will be a guest musical performance coming out soon. End freak out cutscene and regular episode continues. Jim. So I got something special for you, Red Ballon dudes. Points to Chadwick, Laren, points to Lauren. How about you two cutie pies? Hit me on God's email. Kathy points to Rachel, love to. But where's God's email address? You know, that one thing that every god uses constantly. Oh yeah, God. Calm. Oh wait. Low death. God. Calm. Oh yeah. Makes sense. That's silly. Must be old. Nothing says the Holy Spirit better than an old Foggia dress. Wait. Beads of sweat begin gathering under his sunglasses after. Did he send me a photo? Did he? Was that God? Was it me? Was it him? Super ready to get overly excited, a super obvious couple stone in a park picks two deep breathing communication lasers, and you know what, this is so good as I continue staring into the middle distance. God chimes in. God, I know Jim White on. Do you send the photos so everyone can see? Hey, Daenerys, send anything else to cheese balls and peanuts, Gregor, a sub at God. Come, because I might be putting together mailers very soon, so feel free to send your goods in tomorrow. Beams confidently. God, okay, and shut up. It was a joke, chat. You needed a photographer, chat. How you spell photographer, chat? It's as easy as photo chat. I'm sending it. But why? What about your pants, Chad? How did you see it? Plus, Chanich, excuse us for we falls down about to burst into tears as Lauren hugs him. God! So, Jim, my goodness, am I glad you're back again. It's been too long since we've joked around like kids. We were, in fact, BFFs before I even got started here recording my first dictation before we came out here and began placing one thunderous order after another. Those were my glory days, like my ass before it was holy. Jeff, don't you dare say it, but seriously, you need some help. Here is what I think. Jeff, you're not taking this seriously. This is no time for jokes. God Jim chuckles internally, going through some photos looking for the right one. God grabs water droplets, said right there. That's it, turns over and stares out a window as rain blurps at his window. Jeff gasps and glares at God. What about the boat? That asshole Vince got us stranded way up here. Like, why don't you just take 2 bolts and burn the whole fucking mountainside down? Right, to start fresh into the sea doesn't change one bit me or my body. I'd pass on reincarnation. I'm still here. Why can't they all just come back? The driving rain makes shades of black everywhere. The only thing holding my eyes down is your word. God blushes. Strained voice announces I'm done recording for today. Dim. Fine, but God does promise to send some help to you guys. Here are some parts of his emails you might find relevant. Also look forward to some more performances coming soon, but if you want lyrics, God will send them to your inbox. Jeff, cheerleader. That's me in high school. Lauren and Mira. 7 years later, love story cuts in. Dim. No, wait, forgive me, please give us these gifts according to our faith. Please get out of here and take your misery with you. Hey, bro, I know you're sad, but could you come in, please? No, God, not you. Go fuck yourself, Mr. God. God laughs, internally looking around smugly. Well, don't worry, all these windows are double insulated, so I don't usually have to worry about them knocking too much off the mountain, so if I'm under 6 feet of snow, I'll call Bodie, tell him I'm really sorry, but it looks like he's going to have to paint over your limo, dude. Jeff. The sun breaks through the window, looking down at me with a pained expression on its face while God takes shelter behind a pillar in another building. Neither party looks up until quite late in the telling when. Sound effects. The sun suddenly begins shoving objects down the clouds, tossing away much of its precious moisture into the holes in them, which then are able to hold more liquid, but otherwise remain completely dry for many hours, serving as expansive systems of funnels. Jeff! See, Lauren, look at that sun. Hey, did you see that? Now look deeper. I see pus trails in other clouds. They'll burst eventually. Lauren. First suck escape, first go. I'm sure your Sunday will be just such a to the shout, sorry, so great that you can hear my heart forever to the shout, sorry, shouty to the shout, sorry, shouty, shout. So, Yazzie, I'm sorry, did I say that out loud? I guess I was just unconsciously taking comfort from Kenji Jesse, Hop Boyer, Minion, Jaden Johnson, President. I can't even remember. I'll see you next time. I want more dreams and jerky whiskered mesmerized by nature. cartoon birds turn tail and flap away, squawking towards a safe distance. Jeff, the sun covers itself behind clouds again, now bored. 3 hours later, Jim, good news, any truck as long as it has a load rating greater than, say, 150 kilos will be more than enough to get you guys down the mountain back into Falador normally. Also, there are new Delhi's grand opening fairway ourselves cul-de-sac sales on at both the daycare center and children's heliport, saying, you love life so much, try on an extra security guard for size. Buy one, get one free. See what I did there? Buy your X1 for less than half price and really show him what you think. Slash, because how many slash life art chasers do your old lady have? Slash, so there is lots of different delis to choose from. Give them a try. All quantities massive, etc. Slash, plans cost 2G for 3 months and another 2G for purchase. Your brainstem knows best equals slash less nausea. All you can eat buffet. All you ponies get inside slash magic mirror of life. Degrading video game food coming your way. Rejoice! Jim, you guys should really make your own food anytime, anywhere, etc., etc. Slash American Zombies game. Slowing down food supply equals magic mirrors will appear on countertops complimenting food choices while we eat lunch asterisk slash and other stupid shit like that. While I pack Jeff into a maple syrup, full suppression resin, God confuses his mind switching God to his true telepath self slash the magic mirror flashes Jeff. You gotta eat this testati, then regular slash. I keep pushing until reasons throughout history, God's ascension begins ushering in the new global insights pyramid of moral justice while we damn our furry little heinously inappropriate souls. So listen, bro, this is our cash money, a famine of free pigeons and pigs runs before us. We should go for a drive, so let's go, people, let's go, people, let's go. People, let's go, people, while we get ready, people, let's go, people. I told you, Cirrus, Guy and Jim are packing it back out on stage. But Jeff is alone, you can tell Jeff is lonely. Jim. Hey, Jeff, your bud. Hope you're feeling mental one because we are here with Falador to launch our Dark Detectives consulting agency, Pierre Monkey Medis, thus been titled Dark Detectives United. So if you'd like services like tracking down stolen wares or detecting corrupt traders, then give us a bell. We'll be around incommunicado waiting for you. Call slash because take your finger, mouth drops a dime, then you run out meekly with your tail between your legs. Heated leather seats, great view when things fall over, Lyric Jenkins style. First class marketing and customer service guaranteed. 100 sincere hobbyists, sincerely not sorry I lifted you up. My heartburn has made my slash heartburn melt the sputter and then make oogs and oranges ejaculate. Nope, 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 G. I've me money, cash money, pump the buddy, press love is all we need. Give me love, give me love, give me love, give me storm is Froom Paws, beautiful noise, snippet from Jill Scott, simple math, must be love. Mama find me, humans maybe, yeah, slash, I like it asterisk. Whoa, bet, I like it all, the hot gazelle. Asterisk, Gary Oldman have come. Walks. Morna fuse our decision-making sciences. Asterisk, heartthrob number. Peck fought a poker night groove, a minami. Asterisk slash. Cod players done home, we're playing my Stevie B and Pog instead, asteriskin. Vicar. Your character. What would happen if I was in a relationship with your character? Your character. If they developed an addiction problem, I would be very hurt and disappointed. They would definitely undergo an intensive treatment program. If they were struggling with severe mental illness, I would hold them in my arms and tell them that I loved them unconditionally. If they struggled with gender identity issues, I would respect their identity and allow them to have a name that didn't fit neatly into the traditional categories. What would happen if I loved your character but was also attracted to other characters? I would respect your character's right to choose equality over discrimination. I would therefore be unable to act on my attraction in any way. What would happen if we engaged in sexual activity outside of monogamous relationships? Your character would experience a deep intimacy, a shared experience between two people that cannot be replaced. What would happen if we decided to challenge agrarian society? Your character would not know how to feel. The name of the player who pressed the button was revealed in the end credits sequence, but also was displayed when they pressed the button without saying anything to no one. Later on in the game, when you went to other locations for people to investigate, you could see that same name, which was really creepy. Because of this, an entire community had been built around an anonymous person's findings. A popular meme was that the player was some kind of god or godlike, being given knowledge of things that were a mystery to everybody else, including so many individuals in this community who had been featured in the game but never met with their newfound friend. There was another community devoted to guessing who the player was, where they could share their theories about who the person could potentially be and even introduce themselves if they thought they could figure it out. The character that had likely been created by some developer troll had become very important in this community for many hundreds of people eternally connected by curiosity about the anonymous player's thoughts. The Reddit community absolutely hated that this ended up being such an important part of a first-person game that had dozens of other options for gameplay available. It's possible that Shadow of the Tomb Raider had been made more deliberately, though maybe due to comments from the beta testers that existing in some zone players would definitely identify as a godsend and believe was an act of existence granted by a high being from another world. There were many Christian members of this particular online community who had pointed out that if Trinity hadn't required Lara to have loved Elijah, it would have been perfectly clear who had made her Jesus his true love forever and ever today, defying death and finding salvation by doing so prior to passing on from this mortal life and experiencing an absolutely transcendent bliss beyond compare. While this action wouldn't grant the health power-up like consolation had it been available, it definitely meant that this player was not intellectually challenged like so many other players were viewed as due to what seemed to be an unfortunate combination of tunnel vision and intellectual poverty when trying to connect faith systems with gaming experiences, where this was clearly a giant step outside of comprehension for many critical thinkers. There was a young man who wanted very badly to be a great man, but only wanted this role for himself, not because he could destroy everything himself without any help. B head straight back into an area after failing and waiting for either enslavement or freedom. C become like his more popular buddy due to being publicly outspoken critical of those who are always talking about what should be done but never do anything themselves. Not because his pseudo-admirers are going to turn into actual friends, but because these guys are just going to go away soon when word gets around town that he's a complete hopeless loser. This young man was called Gardapak of Abojo. This young man and his friends all did similar things very badly, yet they shared a very deep passion for making cool stuff very badly. These guys were not like most other young men because they were going all out to be like those famous intellectuals people on television have told him he should definitely listen to when he grows up, like they've said he should, because just thinking objectively about really complex ideas is something everybody should consider getting into to be awesome because of the amazing things it might lead to if people ever manage to figure out how important it is. They were going all out because he really wanted to be like his favorite author, who was supposed to be one of the most hardworking and elite people in the entire universe ever, and write lots and lots of cool books, so he'd become one of these prestigious, wise dudes that wrote lots and lots of those cool books. These poor young chuckle farts were asking themselves what they could do to maybe get closer to becoming the kind. of magnificent things you learn about guys who exist like that, so he could be one of those guys too, even though nobody really knows how these guys get to be so important, yet they don't seem like they are even close to being as smart as anybody else. They weren't really sharing the secret which in public like maybe every other dude does on social media or with his buddies. These chucklefarts were trying very hard not only not to share it, but also not talking about it a whole lot at home with his mom, figuring out how not to sound like weirdo babies around her. She's always saying embarrassing stuff when she does coffee with her friends and somebody shares some jerk-off story about one of their friends who talked about how great it would be if everybody did this totally awesome thing everybody just totally loves. These chuckle farts all do still tend towards becoming loners, but they are competing with far better loners than they thought they could ever possibly compete with. That's what makes them so mad when somebody makes fun of them now about how weird they are when he puts himself out there talking about being a loser who risks staying on a quest forever because he wants nothing more than reputation, even though they know it's a quest for nothing, because there is no way that he could possibly have any real reward there when everyone knows all quests have cheese, because every quest has cheese or they don't pay to or whatever if you don't get the cheese for free, if you wouldn't sell your own mother for cheese. Everybody knows that nobody even does quests anymore, and even if they do quests, it's mostly boring quests that no one even completes, even though there are always those faggot assholes wasting their time on quests doing nothing but complaining about how deadly boring it all is all the time. These Chucklefots' entire aspirations were having difficulty solving this dilemma because they refused labor. B did not want all their freed up time wasted on goofing off. C aspired for social position in society at a high enough level that there was at least some chance of them being noticed by someone important. D left once transitory meetings in an odd-shaped world full of unreliable connections. He felt extraordinarily constrained by their parents/S's lack of supportive insight. F embraced interruption-based Q. G accepted authority as absolutely critical insight in relieved living. H felt intrinsic remorse. I aspired female epitaphs. J aspired representation in biological lineage, seen anecdotally as merited. K felt smallness for many very good reasons, and L thrived within fierce/excitement-styled communities. The homily now resumes. This part just says F you, okay, I hate you fucking gooeyes, you are all gunny. E, so hit the button. Pick another faith off irreality behind me over shootboard. You hit the button, yes, no, orf. And before it even stalls, it's going again. This one is all gender dynamic, so everyone got ready to listen and respond, because even though this part wasn't actually a sermon, it's okay, we're going off as the fuck I tell you off the fucking top of my chest, though. It's finally here when you've been waiting for this, so hold on to your tails. Nom can say a big old yay whenever anyone bums you out from being so excited that my worldview finally sees everything in my life for what really true weird, like Dante again say yay, she just told the whole congregation yay, just like when you start one of those orientations where you get put in an elevator right away because you could be stuck there forever. You can't turn that off if you're not into it, because hello. And then after your face breaks out in a big smile when you see that person who's never going anywhere because he's just too bored to do anything else, so he's waiting for a loan from someone he doesn't even know to lower the whole nightmare of everything like everything else he's been dealt in life into something you can't quite stop taking, so you take another breath and then another breath and then another breath, but your lungs won't stop short-circuiting forever, and everyone can feel it when they hear that second person comparison, so here she just lunges straight ahead into that go fuck. You press the button again, the penultimate press. You can see it all now. The button flashes on screen again. Again, the homily now begins. This sermon examines what some have determined to be an open secret, that QM is a variant of awesomely beautiful martial arts where fighting always resolves belief differences, that the quest in itself resolves belief differences, that all belief divides all to a single QM in a meaningful optimality derived algorithmically from not believing anything at all. Oh, peep up front now. This button is for lasting longer today when life wears you out. Press it now, Finney. Want to vote on faith before you go? Well, I'll hold my hands out and you can press anything here. Ha ha! Have fun tonight. I don't know any real human friends either. On G, even though we both just have crates of separate bite-sized isolated feelings. Now on G, they had excuses. B is done butt balls. What have you done to me? Why did you fuck up my conscience? On GL. You nerdins seriously annihilate me out. Care be right here, then let's get some bread at 3A. Let's just take some punch on us. We're gonna be right here like if I were on my knees eating bread and drinking punch like I'm hungry. QJ notice FPSWTM only 16. Why am I doing this? Why are we both doing this? Get out of here. Is this a joke? Is this a fucking joke? No! No more. No more of this insanosum. Let the rays of united realities 10 of 7 cystic spixadrate fix medonji go on. It makes me just understand something. At last. Thank God! It's a course. I mean, it could be about anything. What course is it about the course? Is that it? Now they're all talking about a course. I know what it's about. I know what recent faith is about. I know why I'm about to become an atheist simply because this fucking button does fucking nothing. This course operates independently from me and my faith, except that it can't operate at all without faith. Has there ever been a double-edged sword which can break both parts? Couldn't it also break the world? It could it? Perhaps my faith can. Oh God, do the rest. See what is here. I will be one of the first in the pews. Whoop, whoop. Out there in the real world, now exhausted and broken from this brave, dangerous journey, run out into emotional exhaustion by the act of searching for faith in this institution, which throws miracles on people like stale baked good bears at pet events. Most importantly, those who never believe their hearts ever want something so much in your life as they do right this second, thrashing around in pure ignorance, your fevered hatred of anything and everything inexplicable, trying to chase ghosts out of crackers and out of your watch dial and out into eternity looking over. Your shoulders shit-chicking all the crippled clocks in your basements for days. They screamed in your head, fuck the clocks. How long are we gonna stay in this fucking hole? Let's move, let's move. Move forward to your future. Is this it? Is this it? Perhaps God strikes you down with an early onset stroke now, requiring you to take some kind of a vitamin complex daily, which allowed you to lay catatonic in a fairly uncomplicated bedroom. Recently, Christ God, you're so vulnerable, so careless indeed were those in the church building, keeping an eye on you and caring for you and smoking away their vestments as long as they did, because that was no longer permitted. You felt it. There's a law somewhere now preventing it. Damn, that was a stupid thing to say last night. What people do for me, I get respect. Oh God, your benevolence touches me, truly astonishes you when you think of yourself as an animal floating somewhere inside all that heated immortality, because you still think of yourself as being really naive for believing in God at all. No psychobabble, please. Oh, yes, please. Oh, shit. No comparison. All atheists make me look fucking stupid. Bullet panda? No way. Why can't I be happy just being like everyone else? Why do I have to pray? Why did I ever think myself into this dark pit of existential despair? Oh, maybe others have warned you what happens when you give up. It's not enough to believe in anything to get where you need to go. Sometimes even math will only get you so far, especially when you become so weary of its never-relenting tediousness. Catholic ism. You and your precious fucking conflict of interest that Satan destroyed while he was here. You dig me? Yeah. Now jump. Or because after all these years, you've come to feel that your heart simply cannot afford an impulse anymore. It's a necessary evil, you say, but obesity is caused by eating too many calories and living a sedentary life. And so That's what we must work on doing, but again, math creates the exact same crisis, isn't it? Okay, the button. The final press. Breathe in. Breathe out. And press the button. The button. The chaos. The poets don't want it at night because its illusion is destroyed at night. God doesn't want it at night because its illusion is destroyed at night. They say God is a simple woman and likes campfires and simplicity, and so he hates poetry at night too, even though he will blow shit up with artillery. But they say that only at night time, because we hate poetry at night too, because its essence is myself illuminated or hidden by memory, altered by time passing, which means me does not equal the me of last night, nor certainly is the me of yesterday me either. Because while we are alive here on Earth, we live in the now which cannot touch our past selves, but rather experiences them through a flashback sequence where they split screen, simultaneous split screen to alterative cinema. Because we be living in modern cinema has come. Oh wait, first let's have a logo announcement just for shits. Focus on this world, boy, focus on it. If you're going to pray properly, focus each single day, twice daily. Do not overdo company, platinum, tight, God movie hands. Off the upload or merchandise channel, repeat, 3x, clear, harmonize. What people I get respect, oh God, your benevolence touches me, truly astonishes you when you think of yourself as an animal floating somewhere inside all that heated immortality, because you still think of yourself as being really naive for believing in God at all. No, myself into this please, oh yes, please, oh despair. Though maybe others have warned you what happens when you give up. It's not enough to believe in anything to get where you need to go. Sometimes what more can you do? Even math will only get you so far, especially when Y11. 18. Y is 11. 18 better than 11.
Oh,
17.
I see.
All right. Hey. Okay, great. I'll just be calm and keep fighting like a good little Catholic. Just trust in prayer. Medium, don't trust your thoughts. Just pray. Manual rehabilitation. No concrete plans if you're in pain. Badman took forever for peace, not what got the piecing. For your brain to finish developing, unlike many huge ones who are just like Ginger 4. So you're prone to primitive emotions like excessive anger, like Ginger, and excessive kindness, same CR. Iteria! Because you can't open up about anything, and even if people do talk the shit out of you about their problems, it still continues to add up inside of you without someone going to the priest saying, I talk shit about my problems all day long. But only as a joke, because all the patrons know the priests are wrong about everything, and they know this because... Because? Why? So here's one. First, that miserable son and kinder bastard who shot them all up, and then the spy sneaking through his neighbor's house pretending. He was dying and saying, what mood board are we using? But nothing connects them. And then every window was broken up in town, so they decided it was a guy fighting his drug problem. When they came down with a gun alarm, they didn't find anybody. And then in 10 years, there was a completely different guy infected with a new variant of bait. This time they thought he ran because of his violent reaction to cure-all lassitude. But 3 months ago, another guy with a new baked variant broke into an empty house and stole an antique chair and disappeared without a trace. The armchair he still remained sitting in someone's hall for a month until a neighbor was late paying rent, so he was sentenced 3 years probation. The chair couldn't be used in any other house or bought anywhere else. And then 2 months ago, this guy watching the parade guessed they were all in an alliance together because of splayed legs. But his wife didn't support him because she spotted them together buying PH or something at a college day fair. And then after years and years of everything being connected, there was suddenly no connection. It just stopped making sense after a while. So he quit trying after the third link until he met the guy with bait who had come straight out of the jungle. Edited for irony. One time, in high school, Meanwhile, even though everyone knew him as a huge weirdo and didn't talk to him much at school, so he kept up a huge facade of normalcy. Some people had been talking about how crazy he must be because he was so brutal and cold on himself, but it turned out they were right in having so little respect for him because he was totally crazy and brutal on himself because he also turned out to be completely crazy and brutal on other people too, and he killed himself to avoid standing trial. A friend of mine said, "Man, how hurtful must it be for everybody close to you feeling like they don't know who you are anymore because you're so depressed and totally rude to them?" My coworker said, well, maybe being so different than anybody else had become its own sex appeal where everyone was secretly kind of attracted to him but didn't want to show it because their parents would say no sex until you're married. Sex with yourself certainly isn't an option. And my co-worker said, man, it must really suck to not know how to get laid when you're desperate for sex. Sex with yourself certainly isn't an option. And another time. Meanwhile, a girl who had gotten drunk and had a love affair with a dog while sneaking into her father's house to steal shampoo and wig.
Let's go. Hold on.
Issue or one?
No. Can't. Against the community standards of many platforms.
Considered desirable or real, he said. I find myself strangely attracted to him. My boss said I'd lose respect for people like that given how horrible they are to themselves when I find out what sort of person they aren't, though. Then my friend from high school gave me the condescending look you give yourself when you do something dumb right back at yourself and said, fuck, I'm a total crybaby now. Then his mother died when he was 40 years old trying to save a dog from a wood chipper at work.
But that's acceptable.
That same day, his sister-in-law killed herself by shooting herself in the head 6 times.
Whoa. A little bit graphic there.
I said, oh yeah, though this is not related to what was really happening, she just said, that's sad. For both things which were happening because they happened simultaneously. My coworker said, what can we do? Shift supervisor said it was just the way things go sometimes. My friend from high school broke up with his fiancée because she told him she discovered that he had no soul at all except when he spoke to her in person and on the phone where one could read his pain on his face. The sister felt weird, as though her life was going on for no reason. She hurried down the hall of her brother's apartment in preparation for his return from work, only carrying herself after her troublesome thinking this morning. She fumbled over some basic chores. She put 2 8-ounce water bottles into the fridge. She removed 5 chicken wings from the freezer tray. She stacked tall sundries like empty tubs of ice cream into covered shelves. She filled 4 soup plates with cut-up fruit. She rinsed and put away cheese from the block into her own cupboard even though she felt guilty about it, like that's what she'd done all yesterday. If we focused on everyone's troubles, we'd never get anywhere. All the doing by itself wouldn't accomplish anything. She had shame, but didn't quite understand why. Punch was waiting at the salad bar, a process which seemed longer since he often stood penning on their last visit. But today he wasn't still penning on the scale. Today he waltzed on the scale with impunity and straight into the kitchen wearing casual cut-offs, a t-shirt under a bright yellow sleeveless shirt that looked as though it had been exploding off his lithe body and fluttering behind him like a tail feather in the wind. The sermonettes were biding their time. One of them finally said, perhaps we should thank our funders. The one who had been waiting for more material to be descriptive was so desperate and anxious he started talking by himself to any god who might hear if reform would depend less on wishes than it did upon our funds in working wonders, to which God perhaps replied, I'm working miracles right now personally. I am hardly going to molest my good reputation for your beneficence. Jesus did nothing unless God moved first. It's not what moves him nor what avoids him. This is just like wildflowers God puts in our paths. We have to pray without ceasing. The pudgy woman approached the aunt and pastor's table with receipt in hand along with a smooth sack of used clothing in pursuit of a very minor refund. The cop in charge of her expressed empathy as if a complaint pained him personally, since the first step of a congregation is always listening to complaints before it begins acting upon them. This is a frontline way to involve everyone in church work, so-called vampires. He said his first pride in his vocation was about listening to complaints along with those who have them and seeing where upgrades are needed. Thanks to the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. The sister remembered how her mother found out the news that her own unmarried mother had died from a firework down in Mission Vieja one day while she was at Dorothy's supermarket price-matching bananas that expired in another 2 weeks. The sister remembered how she worked hard not to cry and how her mother looked so put together in professional attire and crisp white lab coat after they read aloud each other's addresses as they sat together in stunned disbelief. How her mother assured her sister that while it looked like their own mother was dead at last, she lived on up in heaven instead at last. Also thanks to Ford Motor Company. The dead held both hope and despair, since its heft also held no tether. Its printed notation was typed among circles or eggs, or were they fetus? The white lines beneath were too thin to be counted, yet gathered too close to assign direction or number to its location. The self-determinant lettering made futile attempts to organize itself, but had failed to correspond to any printed thoughts or rules. Its manifestations were questions whose answer was yet in need of expression. Thanks to the Lennon Foundation, the tenor released an unkind note on Lada. None of them could quite place it in a paradigm until it finally surfed into one. It was thrush chop. Birds chomp each other's throats in new populations. That's why he's named Thrush. Lovecraft. How his nightmares envisioned waking up and knowing wolves would come after him. How they would end. How they would stare us down when we signed whatever it was we signed one by one. These were very tender and sharp tragedies written into his mind and carved up on a kitchen table by his parents when his father came home with their Christmas present before their bagels got cold from France, where they laid out a recital contract for their homunculus piano prodigy, which required hard drives of Galston memory and more moments of silence than ever came before man. Thanks to Sony Music. He was about to launch into his favorite interpretation of toy emoticon hash 584. Alpha emoticon hash 57, but he'd already played it 14 times that day, including every 3 hours while he recovered from the meal at his favorite greasy spoon, the Curious Sporculator. And thanks to viewers and our listeners like you, hooray, God bless. Next week, we can sell out tours and RV parks. A few fuller fasts. One by press of button. You will see /is/ on display / discern one faith currently practiced by a canonized representative of said faith presently in an active stage of life up within the last 500 years, who either respected all religions or evidenced an unaltered capacity for spirituality while in their lives. Unsold inventory can be taken as used or applied elsewhere by pressing button select one prior to this one. True Oakey Falls Church 454 is a very small but still thriving congregation affiliated with X. Congregation 454 represents both gender X and denomination X, which translates into the following observed capacity for empathy and faithfulness within its most recent historical postcard records. The Pastor X displays 20% less empathy than Church X. Congregation 454 displays 20% less faith than 3, a researcher of care plan databases for senior citizens, has recently posted a diary describing a strategy for working one's way around the limited language the oldest of humans have access to once they stop writing down their thoughts for themselves. You would notice meaningful idiosyncrasies of appearance and mannerism. Those wrinkled hands hold an unsettling life before me that isn't so wrinkled. That voice is ugly, but doesn't say vile things about others as much as I expected would given its nature. Those canes I wouldn't do myself because Todd hates them go where this finger pointed, the web. 4 while eating a box of Pop-Tarts 12 packs from Kruger Brosserdink. Or someone else's memories are buzzing around inside my eyeball. Somnambulant jerk with no clue that he's now in company of someone else's. Was raised by a father holding down 4 double shots of espresso every morning with a 3-ball Fogarty score all morning about how he kicked down this place mafia during his service in Vietnam. Seemed like some mini-boss thing to call about when his own grandfather died right there where he's standing right now where he lay. 5, and whoever heard of an X-ray specs? If lenses could see what looked left of the lens, I wonder what would be left in the eyeglasses. Of course, they were expensive as shit, so I stole Scarlett Sharton's parents' debt. Moved to La for 2 years after high school because she wanted her guitar fixed so badly she gave up a place at UCLA where she was really good enough to make it after she got rejection letters from every music school in the country. Most importantly, she was studying composers, Poulenc, Ravels, Mahar, Nankaro. It was hell, but I became a skilled guitarist by the time I left. It's funny how your body makes it through when there really isn't any need to budge an inch anymore. You can cry about your breakup before I wake up every morning, and it's not a strain for me because you did it to yourself. Then a long walk in the park where diners are gawking at you because you look like you're managing it, but not why so much. 6 at 40 years old, Stu Perkins touched with fire doesn't have much feeling at all. Starting from head, his scalp plucked with clams held by harnesses attached to lengths of chain all around his head. He was licked and licked by thousands of naked women and men wearing rubber gloves directed by camera filming on Soden security cameras. The object was not sexual pleasure, but this intimate sensation triggered only by women using strong muscle force on his genitals in ordered sequences starting with toes targeted with blunt instruments and ragged nails as delicately as plucking a rose stem. 7, the only christenings, and we make choice as the christening of cats. Everyone else was the last name children, so she just skipped all that stuff about parents and godparents and godparents and no babies not alive when this ceremony took place can do anything. Blah, blah, blah. When does embarrassing your partner make you sexier? I don't know, Callie said. Maybe if you're like 50 Shades of Sunset from Saturday Night Fever.
And that's it. We're not going to do any more. There was a point in that episode where I was like, okay, I'm kind of tired of this. I think it was when I was having to censor. Because there's content that sometimes it puts out that is, oh, we can't do it on Twitch. That long passage about the dog. Although I was interested in seeing where that was gonna go, but I didn't know. No. And also, when brutality happens, there's acceptable brutality. We can do genocides of kobolds, but we can't do boob damage for good reason. But kobold boob damage, I don't know. What else? Anyway, that's it. Go. Good shower.